Romans 7:23 through 25 reads, "But I see in my members another law, waging war against the law of my mind, and making me captive to the law of sin that dwells in my members. Wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body of death? Thanks be to God." Thanks be to God.
Thanks be to God.
Y'all don't sound grateful. Y'all just sound, oh, thanks be to God. But thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then, I myself serve the law of God with my mind, but with my flesh I serve the law of sin. So what does that mean? We have to put mind over matter. We can't let our flesh control us. We have to put our mind over our physical being. Before we can go any deeper, we must first get a good understanding of the words condition and the word conquer. The word condition means characterized by a predictable or constant pattern of behavior or thought as a result of having been subjected to a certain circumstance or condition, made suitable for a given purpose. The word conquer means to overcome a force, to gain victory over. So when we put the two together, we're saying that we were made suitable to overcome a given force. That force being the devil. As God was preparing me for this moment, Samson came to my mind. Many people know that he killed more people at his death than while he lived, but few really know and understand his calling before his birth as a deliverance from the Philistines. For a national hero chosen by God, Samson was surprisingly unrighteous and earthy. He was the last of the charismatic heroes of the book of Judges, a man endowed with incredible physical strength, but he had a weakness for immoral women. We need to understand that, because we need to understand we're not exempt from temptations. Just because you're called to do something don't mean you're not going to get tempted. Just because God has called you to a higher level doesn't mean that Satan's not going to try to come and take you down. But I believe right now that when God is taking you to a higher level in him, that Satan will come more than later, because he knows what God has in store for you. God, maybe Satan knew, I'm not saying he did, but maybe he knew that Job would have gotten double for his trouble at the end of the book. Therefore, he wanted to go through all of that. But Satan wanted to stop Job. Job's wife came and said, just curse God and die. But Job said, I will yet serve the Lord. Also, Samson had a temper that provoked him to kill 330 innocent bystanders, and a vision that drove him to hunt down 300 foxes, set their tails on fire, and turn them loose in the grain fields of the people who had done him wrong. Judges 13:5. Nazarites stood out from other Hebrews because of the vows they had taken. Like the other Hebrews, they were to avoid anything ritually unclean, such as corpses and dead bodies. In addition, they were not to cut their hair, and they were to refrain from drinking wine or even eating grapes for that matter. But Samson eventually broke each of these vows. He ate honey from the carcass of a lion that he had killed earlier. Wine flowed freely at his wedding feast, and he let himself get tricked into a haircut. But the best known story of Samson, of course, concerns his love for whom?
Women. Delilah.
He loved Delilah. And that's one of the most biblically known stories throughout the world. It was a fatal attraction because the Philistine leaders